Discounts.
We still got quite a bit left with land insurance and everything else, so we get started. Okay, back to the agenda. At this point, we've got a number of action items. First of all,
Okay, so the first one, I move that we approve the March 22nd, 2017 DOCC meeting minutes as presented.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second, Grant?
I move that we approve the minutes of the March 21st, 2017 DOCC minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any discussion on our minutes? I didn't speak to it. All right, next item, Bank of the West contract.
Okay, I know this has been hanging out there for a while, but I move that we authorize the county manager on behalf of the county to sign an agreement and begin the due diligence process on the Kiowa Bank building.
I will second that motion, but I would like the county manager to give us a rundown of the pertinent due diligence stuff.
At this point, we're at a phase in the contract where we enter into the contract and it'll allow us to proceed with due diligence. Some of the due diligence tasks that we're going to complete will be an appraisal, a site inspection, or a level 1 environmental, a building inspection, required improvement plan and what it's going to cost with phasing and timing, the type of improvements that we'll need to fully occupy the building, operating cost analysis, and that may change, things may change after we go through our first phase of due diligence and those inspections. Then we'll also look at our setup costs or our move-in costs, you know, what it takes to do that. In addition to, we're also analyzing the Who House and our current usability of that facility and additional uses for it in the future and potential funding for improvement at this site.
Thank you.
Any additional comments there? You guys?
No, I'm sure we'll have more comments after we get the due diligence back.
Yeah, true. Any comments from audience? Mr. Brown?
There you go.
I may be a little confused about what's going on here, but is there a price set in this contract as far as due diligence and stuff? Because this is a parcel of a piece of property. It's been listed, as I understand it, at about $500,000. It's been sitting vacant for several years. At the last meeting, you heard from Ms. Laval about some information about a comparative market analysis showing that the listed price is vastly overstated. And I just don't understand how this wiring to a contract before, if the contract sets a price, why that's being done without really negotiating the price there. Thank you very much. Well, there's a second issue as well. It's not clear to me why the building is even necessary. I mean, I know that you have $500,000 because a financial rate has to be spent in certain ways, but you don't have to overspend it. You don't have to spend it right away. And there's other capital improvements that would be a benefit to the county and maybe generate some revenue, like out of the fairgrounds here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
I was hoping that the county manager's presentation about the due diligence items would help explain some of your concerns there. I assure you, if the appraisal comes back in less than what it might, that there will be further negotiation going on, or else we'll just drop it. We are very, very focused on the idea, on the need for us to spend the money wisely. So let us do the work, and we may have a difference in view in terms of when due diligence should be done. But we decided that, or it was recommended to us that the due diligence should be done once you know that you have the authority to do it. And you don't have authority to do it, i.e. entry and having appraisals and HVAC inspections and all of these things. You don't have the authority to do it until you have a contract. I would suspect that after we do the due diligence, there'll be a lot more conversation going on, because then we will know the facts.
We will have much more discussion on the bank building in the future. Yes, if you'd like.
And while Marlene's showing up, if there's anybody that has questions about the purpose or the reasoning, I'd encourage you to take a look at our county website at the video of the town hall meeting, the slides that were presented that walk through in quite a bit of detail the reasoning behind this purchase.
Marlene Grubbs, again. My question is, was there any thought at all on an alternative use for $500,000? Was there any look by the three gentlemen sitting at the table on other ways of using the money? That's kind of just a question.
Simple answer, and the only one I think for today is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. One thing I would like to say, a number of people have come to me and asked me about the bank building, the specifics, and I met with quite a few people over the specific issues, over the things that we're discussing. We are open to meeting with anybody and talking with anyone about this bank building, and I would offer that to you. So, thank you. All right, at this point, we're now going away from the meeting. We're going to enter into
We need to have a vote on this so that we can authorize.
Oh, thank you. Good point. There is actually a motion, and there's a second. So, based on that, do we approve it, or is that
I think the motion, just to repeat it, was to authorize the county manager to enter into the contract so that we could initiate due diligence. Is that correct?
That is
Correct.
correct.
Yeah.
And we got the second. So we in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Gavin. That's great. Good one. Then we switched the agenda, so now we'll go into the board planning. I had land use hearings, although we changed that initially, and we adjusted the agenda to indicate that. So now at this time, we're going to our board planning, which will be kind of set up for our next meeting. Something further. Mr. Neal.
Okay, Eddie and County Manager. For our April 26th board meeting, we're currently scheduled to hold that in your BOCC room. On our agenda at this point, we have a Fair Board update, approval of the minutes of today's meeting. We'll have a public hearing on Elizabeth Stampede event permit liquor license, public hearing on Cowboy Up liquor license, public hearing on the Elizabeth Rodeo Association liquor license. We'll have the appointments policy, which is an ongoing item on the agenda. Strategic plan, countywide organizational adjustments, ongoing item on the agenda. Our ORR policy, which is an ongoing item on the agenda. And at this time, we have re-roof repair code update on the agenda. In addition to that, we've also talked about having an outline for our process on minor, major, and commercial applications, historic community district proposals, and amendments to XX and MOU process.
Ed, can I make a comment there, please?
Sure.
I'd asked Kyle to be ready to make comments on those last three items that you said there, but we're now exploring the possibility of updating all of our planning and zoning regulations. So we want to make sure that we have that discussion and understanding before we start presenting patches to our existing planning and zoning regulations.
Okay, we'll add a line item and we'll just
we'll remove those items and just, combine them all into one and talk about the zoning regulation rewrite or update. Is that,
That's good, yeah. I'd like to keep those items there just because if it's going to take a long time to resolve, or to update the planning and zoning regulations, we may want to, insert those patches earlier and then, fix them, or include them in the zoning rewrite.
okay. We will keep them on there. Any other items you folks would like to?
Actually, yeah, if you could, I'd like to offer something. We've been working on improvement districts, two types, public improvement and local improvement districts. Policies related to these improvement districts, so we can work with subdivisions. And that's kind of in line with our study that we created with inertia to evaluate the roads specifically in the subdivisions in our county. So could we add the public improvement district and the?
You bet.
All right.
And that provides a mechanism for existing communities to finance, improvements if they wish.
Finance any type of improvements, road improvements, water improvements, specific, all different types. It's used in, kind of looked at in other counties. It's been pretty valuable for other counties, and I'd like to kind of look at it here, so.
We will add that.
Anything else? No?
I'm
Nope.
not thinking.
That's a long enough agenda. So, all right,
Thank you.
thank you. At this time, are we ready to go into the land use hearing?
I would like to make a motion, or I will make a motion that we open, this meeting for land use hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I think what we'll do, we have, first on the agenda, and we'll look at, have an asphalt plant, temporary asphalt plant for an SUR.
Thank you, Chairman Wilcox, members of the commission. I'm Vince Harris, I'm with Baseline Corporation. We're here to help you evaluate and go through the asphalt plant special use permit request. So I will go through the presentation quickly. Jackson was not available to be here today, but I'll be able to step in and go through this for slide. So this is a temporary asphalt plant that is proposed. Obviously it's a temporary plant. There'll be some employee parking on the property as well as outdoor material storage, and it's all tied to a CDOT project on US 24. Next slide. A little bit of background. The pre-application meeting was done in November of 2016. In December of 16, the application was submitted. It went out for a review period, received comments. The original public hearing date was set for March 7th, and with Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners on March 22. There was a site change that was necessary based on the first location. So a new public hearing dates were set, and Planning Commission conducted their hearing on April 4th, and obviously today is the hearing on April 12th. Planning Commission did recommend approval on April 4th. So we're going to go to the location. Obviously, it's just down in the southeast corner off of Highway 24 there, the southeast corner of the county. Next slide. Again, it's view in. Go to the next slide there, Corey. That was the original site to the far right. And then, begin, Corey. This is the site that's under consideration here for today's application. Next slide. Just to give an overview, the asphalt plant itself on this property is located on the eastern side. Next slide. Then the stockpile areas will be a little bit to the west of it. Next slide. The parking areas on the south end. And then the last slide there will show the temporary stockpile for the topsoil. Next slide. The zoning on the property is agricultural, so is the land use. Generally, the site is flat, and it is not within a 100-year floodplain. Next slide. I'm not going to read all of the state agencies and districts and county folks, but there are a number of entities that were referred to the application, and we did receive some comments, and those are listed on the next slide. So we did receive some comments from CDOT, obviously, Public Health Department, and there were letters of no objection from Department of Natural Resources, Double L Conservation District, and the Elbert County Health and Human Services Department. So I'll move into the recommendation. I'm sorry, a step notice was provided. It was mailed to the property owners within 1,320 feet. Newspaper notice was sent, and that was in the Rancho News, and the sign has been posted on the property beginning on March 1. So with the evaluation of the application, if it is in conformance, we suggest that it is in conformance with the master plan. In terms of zoning, there's minimal impact on neighboring properties, and the subdivision ordinance is actually not applicable. In terms of the findings, again, we found it in conformance with the Elbert County master plan. It meets the criteria and the zoning regulations. And the subdivision regulations are not applicable. We do feel that the proposed land use is compatible with the existing allowable land uses in this surrounding area, and will not result in any impacts to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents in the surrounding area. So with that as a recommendation, there really were no objections from any entities. There were some items of clarification requested, and those have been received. Planning Commission recommended approval on April 4th, and the Community Development Department recommends the Board of County Commissioners to approve SU 16-0038 US 24 Gonzales Road temporary asphalt plant for a special review application, subject to the following conditions. Would you like me to go through all those conditions? You've got them in your packet. I'd be glad to do that, or we can just very briefly summarize. There were 2 added at the Planning Commission meeting. If you want, what is your preference today? I can go through those.
As far as I'm concerned, they're pretty benign.
Okay. So with that, why don't we'll just go to the last slide, and if there's any questions, we're available, obviously, and the applicant is here, so there are any questions of the applicant. Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah. Just actually one question of the applicant that we have to ask. Do they agree to the conditions that are, yeah, okay. Getting a head nod in the back.
He's nodding his head, yes. That's John.
I move that we approve the special use review SU 16-0038.
So do you ask for if there's any comments from anybody?
If you wish to speak on
Do we need to hear anything from the applicant?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But maybe there might be some public comment, I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask for next, to see if any public comment on the asphalt plant? No, at this point, Grant, your
Is my
motion
motion
down
I have to do it
down
again?
No,
Okay.
go through that.
We'll do the second.
Okay, I'll second.
I have no remarks on it.
Okay. You asked the question.
Yeah, that's just a comment on, this is one of 2 projects going on this year for work on State Road 24 between the El Paso border and Lyman. So good for us in the county, and I would ask, I guess, as we look at rewriting our regulations going forward, these asphalt plants, they're very transient, they're very tightly controlled by the state. If there's a way to move through these when CDOT's funding a project that can be an administrative permitting process, we'd save a whole lot of time.
I certainly agree with that.
There's 48 pages plus the additional attachments. And I'm kind of reading through, so
Fill a lot of potholes with paper.
yes, we do. So, maybe we can, streamline. All right, with that, we've got everything, no more comments, votes on it, all in favor?
Aye.
All right,
This helps us get better roads.
yes, it does. Yes. But this, we're not about roads. Ooh, ooh. Okay, next one, got something here. It is sitting at, 11:30. I would suggest return here at 12:30, how about half?
That's good for me.
Okay. 30 minutes. I understand, I see you nodding, I'm sorry. Problem is, this will take quite a while. I believe we've got a lot of public comment. This will be both emotions, I believe, and I think it's gonna take a long time. In fact, I foresee 2 to 3 hours possibly. So in that event, I think I would kind of look for a motion to break for lunch for approximately 30 minutes.
I move that we adjourn this meeting for 30 minutes and reconvene here in 1.5 hours.
Second.
Okay. An hour?
I'll entertain a friendly amendment if that's what you want.
That's okay. An hour.
I accept the friendly amendment.
Hour it is?
Hour, fine.
Good. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, folks. An hour. 1 hour. Yes.